Well, hi there and welcome along to another edition of What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes. I'm Tom Malone, joined this week by Brendan Duke. How are you, Duke? You all right?
Good form, thanks, Tom.
Declan Marin of our sponsors, Ladbrokes. Declan, good to have you back.
How's it going?
Good stuff. You didn't get chalked off for the last one,
No.
so it's okay. And of course, Deputy Editor of the Post, David Jennings. You well?
I'm fantastic.
It's been a pretty eventful week. It's been pretty eventful. Like, heading into the peak of the flat season, and all anyone's really talking about is Gigginstown. What's he take?
I think it's a disaster, I really do, and I think their knockers will realise just how big a hit is going to be in Irish racing and the Irish racing industry, and like it's going to be pretty soon we're going to feel the effects. You
just said knockers there, and someone put up because we were kind of talking about this off air, and you said apparently Gigginstown really quite unpopular in the UK in particular. Maybe it's a bit of Ryanair hangover, but
yeah, I don't know. It seems to be anytime you talk to people in Britain about Michael O'Leary and Gigginstown, it's pretty negative, you know. They seem to, I suppose they don't like the fact that maybe they took horses off Mouse Morris after he won the Grand National. They get rid of the horses they don't think are good enough to run in their colours. But like, I just find them fantastic. They're straight, they're honest. All their horses are trying for their lives. They're not afraid to run horses against each other in races. And in a lot of Grade 2s and Grade 3s in Ireland in the last couple of years, them races would have been pathetic only for Gigginstown. Yeah. They're buying horses from the point-to-point ring. I think it's really, really damaging, and I'm really worried. Well. Yeah. Really worried. Yeah.
Your thoughts, Chucky?
I wouldn't be that worried. I mean, the horses will still get bought. They mightn't appear in Ireland, which is a blow to Irish race fans. But at the same time, if you look at the owners list, a lot of the top owners in Ireland are based in England, because the trainers and jockeys are a big draw, and of course all you have to do is jump in your helicopter to go over and see them, because if you can afford to buy these horses, you can afford a helicopter. So I think the slack will be picked up. There's a lot of wealthy people out there, and horses continue to be popular.
Good stuff. So the boom is back, according to Brendan Duke. Come on, yeah. Hashtag we are back. Right, let's get on to the racing action then from Newbury at the weekend. We start with the Lock-Inge, obviously the first all-age Group 1 this side of the world. How do we bet, Declan?
La Bravado is about 7-2, with Lawrence 11-2, Beat the Bank 13-2, Lord Glitters 15-2, and then you're talking about 9-1 or bigger the rest.
Good stuff. It's wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what sums it up, the entire field are rated within £2 of each other, between 115 and 117. And I tipped up Romanized in the paper during the week because he's a joint top rated in the field, and Le Bravado was favoured, and I thought he was just as eye-catching as Le Bravado was at Naas on his return to action. He's a classic winner. He won the Irish 2000 Guineas. As a 2-year-old, he got within 2 lengths of Massar, went on to win the Derby. And it seems to be, there's just one big run in him every year, and it seems to be on his second start. The fast pace at Newbury, he's been trained for the race. I spoke to Ken Condon, I'd say 6 weeks ago, and he said one target for Romanized, and that's the Lock-Inge. He thinks the race is perfect for him. Billy Lee couldn't be in better form, great booking. Look, there's a chance he's probably just not quite good enough, but at 25-1, if you're getting that price, I think he'd be bang in the mix. Class might just tell in the kind of final half furlong, but I think he'd be bang there. Romanized each way is a cracking
Yeah, Romanized each way for you. Perhaps all the cards fell exactly in his favour at the Curragh last year, but the same could happen. Same could happen on Saturday. What about you, Juki?
Yeah, as David said, it's you can throw a blanket over them. There's not going to be a whole lot in it. Lord Glitters, very, very solid citizen. Wants a good test at a mile. Straight track at Newbury, ideal. Should be a decent gallop on here between Ostillo and Lawrence. He can be covered up with a decent sized field, come late. I mean, he might just be good enough. I'd be surprised if he's out of the 4, because he's just a rock solid horse. I mean, he comes back in Maidan over 9 furlongs in a proper race, runs third. He'll run his race and he'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah. Okay, let's go down along the line. So you're going to start with
Lord Glitters.
Declan?
I like Lawrence. I think it's a class act in the field, although I think Jenna's probably spot on with Romanized is the value of this race. Considering I think he's one of 5 Group 1 winners in the field. Shouldn't be forgotten, he is one of them, so should have an excellent chance.
You're Romanized?
Yeah, I am. I think Sharjah Bridge are run well, an old favourite of mine.
You can't not mention Sharjah Bridge, to be fair.
I think they just didn't go fast enough for him at Sandown. Didn't really like his head carriage in the final half furlong, but I think this race will be run to suit. He's probably one of the shorter price than Romanized, that I think will go well, but 25-1, you can't go too wrong with Romanized, I think.
Yeah, I'm with Lawrence for what it's worth. Let's move on to the 225. That's the Al Rayyan. Expecting Crystal Ocean to be short enough here, Declan?
Yeah, quite short, 8-15, although not completely unbackable when you look at the field. Larabe 7-2, Raymond Tusk 8-1, Red Verdon interesting at 14s and 25s are bigger.
Can you look past him?
No.
Yeah, same. Can you look past Crystal Ocean here?
How is this 8 to 50?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
what I
he's
was.
gonna
I was
force
going to
on that.
elaborate, and then I said I talk too much, so I'll just say yeah. That's exactly what I was
Well,
gonna say.
I sometimes find it very hard to discern value at these really short prices. But this horse should be 1 to 4.
Yeah.
It's a stout. Poor old Raymond Tusk has to give him £2. The actual Raymond Tusk wasn't placarded as much as the equine Raymond Tusk. He usually comes out for his comeback. He's a better horse over a 1.5 miles.
Newbury is perfect.
And he's a stone in hand, and there's a couple of pace angles to just set the race up for him. I mean, I honestly wouldn't like to be laying 1 to 4. If you were of this position to really get stuck into shorties, he just...
Could you back him at that price?
I couldn't. I just can't do it. I have to look after my mental health, and if something did happen, I'd never get over it. So,
Anything to be said for Red Verdon with the forecast, considering Lorraine might need a bit of give, and you've got Raymond Tusk quite high in the weights?
You know, ambulance second for me, but like perhaps, yeah, could be.
Real Cheltenham preview night talk there.
See,
And we're only in May.
Right, let's move on to the rest of Saturday's action. We've got a few around the grounds. Go on, Declan. We'll start with you. You like going early on the Newbury card?
Yeah, the 150. Well, you've got Monster about 3 to 1. It's the second favourite for me. The Red Impression 7 to 2. His maiden form at Kempton has worked out well. He basically has to transfer some really good form so far onto the turf. You look at his listed effort at Chelmsford last time. It didn't work out brilliantly for him, I didn't think. So quite simple, transfers that form over the turf, and he should fly in here. I think he's just a cut above a few.
You are with Red Impression. You're going to take
I
Red
am.
Impression on with one, yeah?
It was one of these when the betting came out during the week. I was shocked at how big Dunkerron was in the betting, because I think he's kind of a class angle in the race. Kind of was all at the big dances last year as a juvenile, and he just looks the type, I think, that could progress as a 3-year-old. And I think the fact that Alan King's horses are much better form at the minute than they were during last season, they're all running their races, and I just thought like he was a double figure price. I think there's some 14s available about him, and I just thought he'd be banging the mix. I thought he was underestimated in the market.
Elsewhere in the Newbury card, by the way, there's a difference of opinion in the listed race at 10 to 5. Juki,
Wow.
Yeah,
You're taking me on.
He's taking
Well,
me.
it's-
I think this could win the Oaks.
Well,
on,
exactly.
Jiggy,
The
you
market,
start.
the market is just going to be all over this filly because she was a massive eye catcher, this Sea of Fate, and I can see why. But I just think the market might overdo it. And another big eye catcher was that Lavender Blue on debut in Newmarket for Amanda Perrott. Well backed and a very, very taken performance. Probably a decent maiden by Caesar Star. So the step up 2 furlongs and trip should suit. And I wouldn't be surprised if this made up into a real contender for the Ribblestead. It's just with the way the market might overreact.
Yeah, I see your point.
You might be getting something like 7 to 2, 4 to 1, and dead 8, Tom.
Dead 8.
Each
We
way, she's
love the
very
dead 8. So, in that 450, you're with...
Oh, Sea of Faith. I thought I was just watching the reincarnation of Sea of Class. It was.
She's not dead yet, it's okay.
Yeah, true. Everything just happened a bit quick, but it was such a beautiful education. Like, it was like sending your child to a private school. It was just, everything was so smooth, so effortless, and then a lovely, let's just pass a couple of horses. And I just watched that race and I said to myself, do you know what? If Sparkle Roll ran well during the week, which she didn't. She was bitterly disappointing, I thought. But if she ran well, I said, I'm looking at my Oaks winner there. Like, she's as short as 14 to 1 for the Oaks, which is hard to believe. There's still some 20s out there. I think she could be a star. Now, it's very dangerous to judge a filly on one run, and she got going when the race was over. But I was blown away. So I'd be tempted to back her for the Oaks because I think she could be a single figure price after Saturday.
On the filly during the week was a Sparkle Roll. She probably just doesn't do herself enough favours. So she just
horrible performance, wasn't it?
I think it might be her that's horrible. Anyway, who are you with in the 10 to 5? You're with Lavender Blue, is it?
Lavender Blue, yes.
Lavender Blue,
I
okay.
think she'll be a price.
Okay, so there's a head-to-head, and you've one more to come on the Newbury card as well.
It's at Newmarket actually in the 315. Marrowweed is up £6 for its Doncaster win. Now, it only got up close home, but it was left with plenty to do. The runner-up got first run and was very, very unlucky the time before at Kempton. And I thought last time it was just going to be unlucky again. It's gone up £8, but I think it's a sprinter worth following. Be around about 9 to 2. I thought Marrowweed would win the 315, and I'm very sweet on one at Navan.
Oh yeah,
I reveal?
well, of course. Yeah, go for it. Go on.
So,
because this is not an obvious one.
No,
right?
this is completely from left field, and it'll be interesting to see if it's spotted in the market. I will be tipping it in the Racing Post on Saturday. I think early call in the 305 at Navan. Now, I tipped it last week at Naas, so people will be saying I'm just going in again, forgiveness, all that kind of stuff. But it's running a 45 to 65 for the first time in its life. I thought the last time at Naas, it stumbled a furlong and a half out. When it was just coming to get involved, Gary Carroll accepted the situation, was only beaten 4 lengths. The time before at Navan, it was only beaten 2 lengths when it hit the front too soon under £7 claimer. Loves Navan, has been placed there 4 times. It's down to a mark of 64, the lowest mark it's ever raced off. A strong stall won. Blinkers are on for the first time. It just ticks all the boxes. I've said all along, every time I've been writing an analysis about early call, there is one sprint handicap in early call in a season, and I think this is it, because the stiff uphill finish suits a closer, and I think Gary Carroll will play his hand last of all, and could be a double figure price, but I don't think it'll go off a double figure price.
Early call at Navan in the
Early
305?
call 305 Navan.
Sorry, Dukey, you had one late on the Newbury card there, the 525.
The last, in fact, Tom, Robin of Navan travelled particularly well in 2 stakes races the last twice. Drops the handicap company. He's rated 105 in a 0 to 105. Me likey. And what he wants is a bit of pace and some cover. He's going to get plenty of paces, 14 runners. He should be swooping late and winning the 525.
Okay, last one. You got one at Newmarket?
Yeah, won the flag at Newmarket for the 240. Far above, taking on the odds on Jash. I think might just need a run. He goes up in trip here, so I wouldn't be comfortable taking an odds on price about Jash on that. There's a lot of talk about getting him back on track from the connections as well. James Tate's got a really nice strike rate at the moment. He's about 25%, so far above. He was a course and distance winner on debut, and he was well backed on that occasion as well. I think there should be a little bit more. James Tate's been very, very, very keen on this one.
Yeah.
Some performance from Invincible Army.
Brilliant from it. I was going to say, in fairness to James Tate, like, the market often speaks accurately of his horse's chances as well, to be fair. Well, let's move on to the Sunday action Naas, the feature race, the featuring contest there. It is Royal Ascot Trials Day at Naas. Do you have any, before we start on that, any horse you'd pop up right now for Royal Ascot? Duke, I'll start with you.
I've backed 2.
Go on.
I've backed Hazapur for the Queen Anne. He's 20 to 1. I was really taken with that performance in Leopard. He settled. They've suddenly taught him how to settle. And if you remember at the Derby last year, he travelled better than anything. He just was far too keen. He still finished 5th. Yeah. Not a lot of miles on the clock. Wants a test over a mile straight track in Ascot. 20 to 1. Looks a bit big. And I've taken a chance on one. I'm not sure about this. Ciarafina. An Aga Khan filly. She's won 2 races in France. The second one was a stakes race, and she beat the filly who was narrowly denied in the French Guineas at the weekend. She beat her senseless. Now, she could still go for the French Oaks, but she's bi-pivotal. And the Dam actually ran in the Coronation Stakes on the 3rd run of her career as well. Okay. So I think that they lean more towards the Coronation. She's 16 to 1. She won't be the colour of 16 to 1 if she runs. Yeah. And I would say she's odds on to run.
Okay, well, that's good. Maths are solid for that one.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
One for me, you were there that day. I thought Ickworth was very impressive at the Curragh. Real classy, fast, kind of compact filly. I thought she'd win the Queen Mary. I was shocked she wasn't favoured for the Queen Mary afterwards, and I still think she's valued.
Nothing to dislike about that. Nothing to dislike about that performance.
It was a hell of a performance.
Yeah, agreed. Anything for you, Declan?
I'm on 10 Sovereign, so hoping she runs well today. Before we've recorded this, I'm a little bit interested just to see how Thomas Hobson gets on, all in all. I think there's lots to probably dislike about Thomas Hobson as well. Second to Hoppegarten recently, but only a length and a half off Stradivarius last time, and 2017 runs at Ascot were decent. So I'm just very interested.
For the Gold Cup or for
yeah,
like,
I think 14 to 1 for the Gold Cup, but again, depends where they switched it.
Okay, let's move on to the action from Naas. 350 is the fillies sprint stakes. I'm guessing Peace Charter would be favoured. Look at the reverse the form, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But
about
what
9
do you
to
reckon?
4 thereabouts. So you'd have So Wonderful about 5 to 2. In the present be 9 to 2 and 8 to 1 or bigger. The rest is tissue up at the moment.
Go on, Jiggy, just jump in here. Is So Wonderful going to reverse the form of Peace Charter?
Well, it's a fascinating heat. I thought it's a match. So
I think this is an absolute match.
It's an absolute match.
So, you're talking 9 to 4 the favourite, Jiggy.
So
you're going to be loading up.
There's not going to be much in the betting, but I think So Wonderful will just be fav. And I will probably back Peace Charter because So Wonderful was in front too soon. She definitely looked around when she was in front, so you could argue she was mugged on the line. But Peace Charter, when she was pulled out, just ran around a little bit. Yeah. So she was green as well.
Lord Grimthorpe was at Naas that day.
He was indeed. He was.
That is surely a rare visit.
Indeed, and she was hammered on the show as well. So very interesting filly. 2 good-looking fillies. So Wonderful is a bigger model, but the other filly's very well put together. I think Peace Charter will just win, and I think she'll just be second fav, so I'll probably back her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be along the similar lines to Juki. I think Peace Charter, will get better as well. I'm just a bit disappointed in the present is not running a maiden because I thought it'd be a shoe-in to win a maiden, and is getting better. I thought it was a lovely performance last time as well. So if the Dead 8 stayed, I would be in the present each way follower.
Each way, that's fair enough. Let's move on to the Lacken Stakes. Do you have we'll give tissue prices anyway.
Yeah, Inverleigh be about 5-2 for this one. Round 5s for the Irish Rover. I'm leaving it so perfect, of course, 7-4. I didn't think it might actually run, but Irish Rover 5-1. Then you'd be talking 10s or bigger the rest.
You are with the San, yeah?
Yeah, I again,
the Irish Rover.
I like all week when I was looking at the entries for this race, I thought it was the perfect race for the Irish Rover. My confidence is not as high now that So Perfect has been declared. I wasn't expecting her to be declared, and she was. But I just loved the comeback run of the Irish Rover at Navan. Tried it very short and running, got to the front, travelled really well, and just, I thought, blew up. I thought it'd improve a lot for the run. Gorgeous, big, imposing horse that probably needs a couple of runs to come right. That should hopefully put him spot on for this. It's going to be hard. So Perfect's rated 110. The Irish Rover's only rated 103. Given So Perfect £3. It's going to be tough. I think it's between the two. So if you could back maybe the Irish Rover without So Perfect.
Okay, Jiggy?
Yeah, it's an interesting race. Inverleigh was brilliant in Navan, but he was brilliant on debut in Leopardstown as well. It'd be interesting to see how he backs up. Now,
Apparently have been working shocking.
Really?
Ger, I was working that day at Navan, and Colin Keane picked the other horse in the race, Chicago May.
Yeah.
And he said, "Are you sure?" And I think Colin Keane kind of said, "Well, I'm going by their work." And he kind of said to Colin, "Well, you know now what happened last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't working well last year, went out and won." So obviously keeps her best for the track, like yourself.
The best.
But perhaps doesn't back up as well off the first run. So just a slight concern. And as David says, I mean, it's hard to give the allowance to this So Perfect. This is probably your optimum trip. There's plenty of pace on to tow her into the race. Really strong 2-year-old form. I thought she'd be hard to beat.
Good stuff. Elsewhere on the Naas card, anyone? Dukey, you like a couple
I have
here?
3 if you're interested.
Yes, absolutely. So in the Seoul Paris Sprint Stakes.
Yes, the final venture. Well drawn on the rail. Now the rail might not be as significant as it was, but it's
only
still,
9 runners as well. I don't think it's as significant anymore. But continue.
It's still an advantage. Perfectly good comeback showed that the fire still burns bright. He'll jump out in front, bag the rail, and be hard to pass. I thought the 5 o'clock.
I'll tell you he'll pass him. Sofia.
I was giving Sofia a big chance, but rated 96. Jesus, a lot to find in ratings.
Yeah, I think Connections would like a go at a handicap off her mark from 2 runs ago, but they might blow it here. Anyway,
in fairness to Tom, I think he's given me a winner. I think you're absolutely gone in at every nice meeting this year. But anyway,
okay,
you're due a loser. So the 5 o'clock, this gigawatt, a good-looking sort, son of Dark Angel, so you won't be surprised. Ran in 3 strong maidens last year, winning the last of them. I thought he could definitely exploit a mark.
Yeah, off 87.
Of 87, he probably looks the best handicapped horse in the race. I thought that, and I think he'll have a decent season. And finally, in the last.
Well, this is the perfect. This is the best handicapped horse in Ireland for at least 4 months last season. Anyway, so
Johnny, in fairness, flagged this up very early. But this O'Brien young fella for improving handicappers, it's just unbelievable. Like
perfect Tapatino, by the way, just
perfect
Tapatino horse.
They go, they win a race, and then maybe they don't run up a sequence round. It might be like 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. They keep going,
like King's Vow there.
King's Vow, keeps finding a way to improve to it. So obviously, Joseph O'Brien can train horses. So that's
an unbelievable turn of events.
That's a revelation for the show. But the perfect Apatino comes back over a mile in Cork. You think, right, well, this is just a tune-up. It'll be stepping up and trip. I thought it was an unlucky loser.
Yeah.
The race has worked out really well. Steps up a furlong. It's only gone up a pound in the weights. Warrior of the Turf and old friend of the show, Geological, should ensure a good gallop here. And I thought the Tapatino would be winning.
Good stuff. Right, okay. I'd give Port Lions one more chance against him. Probably in each way squeak at a bit of a price for Madeline Talicki, but yeah, I couldn't disagree with perfect Tapatino. Right, time to get our best bets of the weekend then. Go on, Juki. We'll start with you. It means it's traditional Trixie time.
Traditional Trixie time. So I'll nap that Robin of Navan in the 5.25 and I'll stick him in a Trixie with Lord Glitters in the Lockinge. And I am also just going to put in Crystal Ocean. He's going to win.
That's 8 to 15. What unbelievable. Yeah. What a perfect fodder for your lucky 15 or your Yankee for the weekend. Declan, go on.
I'll give it a strong mention of So Perfect, as I didn't think she'd have any chance of running, so I wasn't going to clear her. But also Red Impression for the 150 Newbury, far above for the 240 Newmarket, and Lawrence for me for the big one.
Okay, and for you.
One I just forgot to mention, I'm not putting in my 3. Orion's Bow in the 355 at Thirsk. Gorgeous comeback last time. Really, really eye-catching. Travelled really well. Traded favoured in running. I'd say it was a pipe opener for this for Rachel Richardson and Tim Easterby. 355 Tursk Orion's Bow will be double figure price. I'd advise people to have a few quid on that. But my nap is early call in the 305 at Navan for all the reasons I've already given. I like Morroweed in the 315 at Newmarket, and also Sea of Faith, who could be our Oaks winner, in the 450 at Newbury.
Retirement stuff there. My best bet of the weekend is Peace Charger. Obviously going to give a shout to Sofia as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week with more What's the Word.